Today we're going to be reviewing a perfume by the Indian brand Dixit Zak, and it's called Oud Mon Cheri. It's an eau de parfum, and this is what the box looks like. It's a very nice box. It's a little bit tricky to open because it's so tight fitting, but there we go. It sits in a bed of foam. This is the bottle, and it fits very snugly. You have to kind of pull it out, so there's no chance of it wobbling, which is good. Bottle is quite simple. All the Dixit Zak bottles look relatively similar-ish, I would say. Kind of information on the back. The sprayers are quite nice, and that's the back of the box. So yeah, I've been wearing it, and let's talk about it. So when I smell it from the atomizer, I get jasmine, I get white floral, I get jasmine, I get a combination of woods. There is cedarwood in here, there's sandalwood, and there's a Hindi oud which is clean. It's not barnyard, it's not funky, it's not dirty. It's very mellow oud. I would say you get maybe a pinch of all the woods, but the oud is maybe just a little bit more stronger than the others. So when you smell it like this, I get jasmine, white floral, woods, and a little bit more on the oudy side, but very, like I say, very clean. It has no animalic dirty qualities whatsoever. And interestingly, the jasmine is also not dirty. I don't get any kind of funky indolic vibes from this. Very, very clean. The whole fragrance is clean. So when I actually apply it to my hand, I get citrus top notes. There's this juicy, zesty, fresh lime note in here, which you smell immediately off the top. It's very photorealistic, I would say. Like you've just literally grated the zest of a lime. I mean, it's juicy, it's punchy, it's sharp, it's everything that a lime should be in a perfume. It's very real, it smells good. Something happens after a few minutes where you start to perceive a little bit of the oud, and it comes across a little bit rubbery. I kind of wrote in my notes in the first 5 minutes. I don't quite know how to describe it to you. There's something a little bit darker, almost rubbery in texture, I would say. Maybe not quite in smell, but texture is rubbery, it's smooth. But you get something along the lines of that coming through with this kind of zesty, like I say, zesty lime. And it's after that, but that little phase of rubbery quality didn't last very long on me, maybe like 5 minutes. And then what it goes into then is the floral accord in this, which mostly, for the most part, is jasmine, but there are other florals in here. I'll read you the little note list that it comes with the box. Lime, bergamot, jasmine sambac, jasmine grandiflorium. There's basically, let me count, 3 kinds of jasmine in here. Narcissus flower, tuberose, geranium, a clean Hindi shin oud, cedarwood, Haitian vetiver, Mysore sandalwood, and castoreum. So for me, as it starts to dry down, you get the combination of the jasmine flowers. Predominantly it's white floral, but again, no indoles, no indolic vibes, no funk, no dirty qualities whatsoever. Very, very clean jasmine, very clean oud. And you go into this big kind of floral jasmine-y accord. The lime is surprisingly long lasting. I can smell the lime going in like maybe even, I feel like half an hour into the fragrance, I still kind of get fresh qualities of this zesty kind of lime note. So that's interesting that it's not a completely brief top note, it kind of sticks around for a while. So as it starts to dry down into the mid, like I say, you're going to get jasmine, very clean, and it seems to be paired almost immediately by the woods in this. So like I say, it's a kind of a combination of all of them, except maybe the oud is just a little bit more in the forefront than the others. Again, clean oud, no funk, very smooth, almost like a pale wood kind of oud, if that makes sense, like a light oud in terms of colour. As it starts to dry down, I did notice a little bit of the castoreum vibe. There is a slight leathery quality to it as it dries down, kind of in the mid to dry down phase. Again, not overly dirty or animalic, so to speak, but just a hint of something that might remind you of a little bit leathery. Jasmine can also have a suede leather-like effect sometimes in perfume. It can kind of naturally have that kind of aspect, so it may be the castoreum plays well with the jasmine in that regard. But yeah, you do get kind of a little bit of something that might remind you of leather as it dries down. But again, I would say the florals and the woods are the more focus of the fragrance. The leather is more of a nuance, I would say, as it dries down. That's the core of the fragrance for you, and really how it feels on my skin is that the florals will tone away and fade back, and you'll lose the jasmine. Obviously the lime will eventually go after an hour or so, and what you kind of get more the woody kind of dry down. Again, oud a little bit more in the forefront, but obviously combined with, you know, the sandalwood, the cedar, the vetiver, you get kind of a little bit of a vibe of all of that. It does get a little bit more, maybe earthy is kind of a word that I used in the notes in the far dry down. Maybe, you know, the little bit of the vetiver coming through there. But yeah, really nice. I think very wearable, quite safe in terms of there's no indole, there's no funk, there's no animalic dirt to it, so to speak. Is very clean. The blast of the citrus is really refreshing, zesty, lively, full of, like I say, zest is the best word to describe it. The lime is very, very zingy in the top, going into smooth jasmine. As it dries down, the woods just amplify, gets a little bit more earthy, maybe a touch more of the vetiver. Very nice. I thought this was very unisex. It's not overly like super girly floral, so to speak. A lot of men will pull it off easily. But yeah, very unisex, very, I would say, versatile in the sense that you could almost wear it as a daily kind of wear, casual, dressed up, going out, going to work. I don't think you'll offend anybody. It's very pleasant, and it's also not, it's not beastly. I found it quite intimate. It sits closer to my skin. The sillage is modest. It doesn't push off heavy. It just gives you a subtle bubble. So I think this is quite kind of safe, crowd pleasing in a way. And like I say, because of that, lends itself to being quite versatile. In terms of performance for this one, a solid 7 hours longevity on my skin, 7 to 8 hours. The sillage projection was intimate, a little bit more close. It doesn't push off huge. You kind of, you know, if you hug someone, obviously they'll smell it, but it's not going to fill up a room, which I think is nice. I don't like perfume that shouts too much. I think this is, you know, like I say, it's intimate, but it's there if you get close to someone. 7 to 8 hours is most people's work day, so I think all day is pretty good. And it's obviously, well, I say obviously, maybe it isn't obvious, but when I smell this, it's very natural. You know, the florals, the citrus, they smell good quality. They smell very natural. So very natural smelling perfumery, and yeah, it smells good quality. I think there's nothing negative I can say about it. In terms of season, I would say summer, spring is the ideal. Autumn will work. Winter, maybe it's a bit light for the winter months, but in general, very good. I've enjoyed testing it out, and that's basically the best way that I can describe this perfume for you. I'm not going to keep this one. I am going to give it away. This was sent to me for review from the brand, and so I will pass on their kindness and their generosity, and I will pay it forward to my subscribers who watch this channel and support me. I will in turn support you by giving a gift. So if you would like to win this, it is a 30ml. Just leave a comment in the description saying, it sounds great, I would like it please, and tell me what country you're in. Because it's 30ml, I can ship it overseas. Really, I'd probably rather ship it to the UK because it's less expensive. If you're in the UK, you might have an edge of winning it. I will go with my heart and to feel who I should send it to. If you don't enter, if you're just going to bung it on eBay and sell it, please. I'd rather, because I could just do that myself. If you genuinely think it sounds nice and you will wear it and look after it, and you won't sell it on eBay immediately, then please do enter. And just let me know what country you're from. I will send it to the UK, to the USA and Canada. I'm not going to go anywhere else in the world, so to speak, because it gets expensive. But if you're in the US, you've got a chance to win this as well. Make sure in the comments you just put which country you're in, because depending on my mood, I might pick someone in the UK or in the US, and I'll basically go off kind of what kind of comment you leave and how I feel at the time. I will pin the winner in a few days time, maybe a week or so, maybe a little bit less than a week probably. And so it's up to you to check the comments, check that you know, if I've pinned you to the top and replied that you're the winner, you've got to check, because you'll have to email me. So yeah, that's it. Hope you enjoyed the video, and thank you to Dixit Zak for sending me to check out. I've enjoyed checking out their perfumes. There's one more to review, which I will be doing in the next couple of weeks, but this one's nice. If you need to like white florals, obviously. Again, not heady, not indolic, which I think is nice, because in general I'm not a huge fan of jasmine. Just to point out, I actually wore this around family, and my mother really dislikes jasmine usually. Any kind of jasmine note in a perfume, she's like, oh, it's dirty, it smells dirty. She's very sensitive to the indoles, to the indolic, dirty kind of nature of a lot of jasmine. This one she liked. She was like, oh, that's nice, which surprised me, because like I say, usually every time she smells a jasmine perfume she doesn't like it and says it smells dirty. This one she didn't find dirty, she actually complimented it. So I think that goes a long way to say, you know, the indoles are not really, you know, it's not providing a skank in this, so it's very clean, so I think it's cool. That's it. Hope you enjoyed the video. I will see you again soon. Take care, everybody. Bye.
One time he disappeared for 2 or 3 days. When he came back, they asked him where he'd been, and he said, oh, just sailing.